All right. Hello, everyone. How's it going? I'm Eric Presnell, and today we are diving into something that can transform your entire business. It is creating the perfect 2-minute video sales pitch. It's something that I've been doing for quite a while now when it comes to video content, is creating sales videos that really get your audience to take the next step. So whether you're reaching out to potential clients, pitching to investors, or even launching a new specific product or service, mastering the short form video pitch is absolutely crucial in today's fast-paced business world. They really expect that video content and really just anything when it comes to sales and marketing to really start getting the traction rolling immediately. Now, over the past 4 years, I have helped create over 200 successful video sales pitches for global brands and tech companies, and it's generated more than $500,000 in deals. So today I'm sharing the exact framework that made that whole thing possible. And before we dive in, if you find this content really valuable, then please give it a like. It really helps more entrepreneurs and business leaders like yourself find these strategies, and I really appreciate it. So if you can, give it a like. I'm not sure if you heard that. There's like a massive motorcycle just outside. Give it a like. Give it a like for the motorcycle. Why not? All right, so let's hop in. Why 2-minute pitches matter. Let me share something that changed my perspective on video pitches. A few years ago, I was in my Sydney studio and I was preparing to record a video pitch for a potential deal. It was $22,000. I remember that specifically. And despite my years of professional acting experience, I was actually nervous. And why was that? It's because I knew that in today's digital world that you have mere seconds to capture attention. When it comes to sales content, the truth is attention spans are shorter than ever. Research shows that the most decision makers make up their minds about a pitch within the first 30 seconds. Usually for ad content, it's within the first 3 seconds, and that's more at a brand awareness stage. But it's usually about that 30-second mark for decision makers. It really kind of goes to the fact that, do I trust this person? Do I understand what they are saying? And that's why having a structured, compelling 2-minute pitch is so crucial. So what I'd love to do is I'd love to hear your experiences about video pitches. If you have done a video pitch, then share in the comments below what the longest video pitch that you've personally sat through. All right, one that you've actually gone from beginning to end. And there's a really unique thing about this is the more people that actually find the content valuable, you'll sit through all of it. And that's why there's some YouTube videos out there or some sales pitches where you're holding on to every single word. And that means that your audience is a good fit, that you're a good fit for that product or service. And that's really the goal when it comes to these sales pitches. So what we're gonna go do is we're gonna go into these and get you into the perfect sales pitch. All right, so the perfect opener. This is the first 15 seconds of your video sales pitch, all right? It's absolutely critical that you nail this. You need to think of it like the opening scene of like a great movie, right? Think Interstellar or any one of those movies that you like. That was clearly my personal favorite. You need to hook your audience immediately. And during my time on Broadway, I did a couple Broadway shows. One of them was called American Idiot. I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but it's kind of a rock opera. And we had something right in the beginning called the curtain up moment. And it was that split second when the lights first hit the stage and you have the audio going on of, at that point was like an old 2001 era. And it was all the news segments. Now the curtain slowly rose. And I think I'll have my editors play a little section of this. And what was really unique was you could hear all the different things, but you could see just people frozen on stage watching. And the audience was immediately captured. The audience was hooked in. And actually was my very first Broadway show that I saw. I remember sitting there just going, whoa, I have no idea what to expect. And turns out the opening is like, don't want to be an American idiot. It was awesome. Anyways, so we really need to try to get that opening just to capture that audience. And then we'd spend the entire show trying to win them back if we didn't get them. So it's crucial that this part works. Now, here is the 3-part formula that I use for this. Number 1 is your problem statement, all right? You got to make it very personal and you got to make it relatable. You need to use questions that trigger some sort of emotional response, right? Something that really actually digs deep into them. Number 3 is you got to focus on specific pain points. A lot of this will come from knowing your audience really, really, really well. So a lot of that research beforehand, or a lot of those conversations with your audience will need to be done before you actually implement this. An example would be, instead of using something like, our software improves productivity, you might say something like, are your team's brilliant ideas getting lost in endless email threads? That kind of messaging speaks directly to those people. So it kind of makes sure that you have an even more bigger credibility in terms of like what the audience actually knows about. That actually brings us to our second part, is called the credibility bridge. That is the next 5 seconds where you need to share one powerful result or achievement. All right. Now, in order to do this correctly, you need to make it relevant to your audience industry again, right? So if you're actually explaining the parts of one powerful result that you guys can get, it makes that social proof happen that they understand and they trust where you are. And really at the end of the day, you got to keep it concise and specific. For example, something going along with the last one that we did, we've helped our 200 tech companies reduce their meeting time by 40%. At that point, you got to know, all right, if I'm a tech company and I want to reduce my meeting time by, let's say, 5%, the fact that you've done it for 200 tech companies by 40%, I'm listening, I'm switched on. The next is the value promise, right? This is 5 seconds again, really fast. You got to make it measurable and you got to make it time bound. So you got to focus on the transformation that you want this audience to take. Really take them for the ride, paint that picture, and maybe even include a guarantee if possible. This will really make that value stand out. So for example, in the next 30 days, we will cut your team's meeting time in half, or you don't pay. So there's really a sales portion there where you're like, okay, I'm hooked. That's in. Talking about no payment in the next 30 days. That's exactly when I want to do it. And it all makes sense for your team. Now, there is a pro tip here when it comes to video recording. All right. Record your opener several times and even time it, right? So if you can't deliver it naturally in that first 15 to 20 seconds, then you need to simplify the messaging a lot further. It's really crucial that you get the pain point and see if they're a good fit within those first 15 to 20 seconds. That's really crucial to make sure that your audience is in the right place, they have your attention, and that your offer or service that you're about to describe is a good fit for them. And then you can move on to the next part. All right. And we'll go into the next part here, building value. So once you've captured attention, you need to build value really quickly and really effectively. And this section is where most of the video pitches either soar or they sink. So let me hop right in, and here's how to structure your value build. This is the next part again. This is the next 45 seconds to 1 minute of what it is. Number one, you have your initial benefit. So you got to start with something that's immediately tangible, right? Something that they can actually do or achieve that actually makes sense, and use specific numbers and timeframes. You got to connect it to the bottom line impact. For example, within your first week, your team saves 10 hours of meeting time, adding $2,500 back to your bottom line. This is the initial benefit that they'll receive, and it's really something valuable that they'll take in and they'll go, okay, this is really helpful when it comes to this offer. It's the first part that really says, okay, here's what the next steps look like, right? And this next part is called the unexpected advantage. This is the next 10 seconds. You need to reveal a benefit that they haven't considered. And you have to connect that to one of their larger business goals. You need to make it memorable with a really unique comparison. So for example, but here's what surprises most teams: those saved hours actually triple creative output. And one client called it their idea multiplier effect. So it really kind of gets into that advantage of, all right, well, that's something that I actually never thought about when it came to this offer, or something additional that they can win from. And the next section there is proof points. All right, this is pretty standard. You just need to really kind of make it sure that you use client results, real results again, and you need to include specific metrics and percentages. You need to name recognizable brands if you've worked with them, or have some sort of actual tangible results or expectations that they might get with this offer. For example, you could say companies like TechSmart and Innovate Corp have seen their team satisfaction scores jump 47% while cutting project delivery time by 1/3. So remember, each benefit should build on the previous ones. And that is creating that value ladder that leads to an irresistible conclusion. Something to really pay attention to because it's important for each step as you get through this video project. The next one is handling objections. So a lot of clients will really get in their mind about specific questions that they have. Okay, well, that is great, but what about this? Or that's great, but what about this? And quick note, you can turn those questions into video content that actually answers their questions before, which more on that in another video. But it's something fascinating that happens. Every great team has a defensive strategy before they even know their opponent. And so in video pitches, we need to do something by addressing objections before they actually arrive. So let me show you my 3-step objection handling framework. Number 1, common concerns. You got to address the top 2 to 3 industry specific objections that you get. And again, this will go back to the market research that you actually do. And you use the "you might be thinking" approach. And you see that a lot in video content where someone says, now you might be thinking A, B, and C. And let me address that because of X, Y, and Z. It's exactly what you want to do, but it actually shows empathy and understanding. Your audience can then relate to it because you've thought of the questions already ahead of time. Now, an example of this, say, you might be thinking this sounds great, but your team is already overwhelmed with new tools. That sort of example really highlights the fact that you get them. The next part is the risk reversal. This is another 10 seconds. You need to offer a concrete guarantee. Remove implementation concerns. Make it easy to start. For example, and that is why we handle 100% of the setup, guarantee results in 30 days, and offer a full refund if you're not completely satisfied. That is a 3-stack promise into a risk reversal that you're like, wow, this is pretty incredible. What an offer. I can't believe it. That guarantee part as well, that depending on your product or solution, it's something that actually might work. And lastly is the solution demonstration. So this is really helpful because it allows you to share a quick story. And you need to focus on the easy implementation. You need to highlight speed to results. For example, last month, Service Tech implemented our system in just 4 hours and saw positive ROI by day 3. Now, this is really exciting because it actually gives you a clear-cut advantage of something that you've already achieved for another client. And psychologically, it puts them in their seat and says, all right, well, that's something that we might be able to achieve. And this is a pro tip that I learned earlier. Try not to just address those objections. Instead, you got to transform them into advantages. So when one of your clients says, this seems complicated, respond with, actually, that's exactly why we created our 15-minute onboarding process. Really paints the picture as to, all right, this is something that we're addressing, but it's actually an advantage towards what exactly we are going to take the next steps on. And it's good that you have those objections because we have a solution for them. So I hope that makes sense. The next section is creating urgency. This is very standard in business. When you wait too long, it can be just as costly. So you need to really demonstrate this authentically, that there is an urgency to create that next step, right? So here's my framework for creating genuine urgency in video content. First part is current market opportunity. So highlight immediate market conditions and share those industry trends, but reference the competitive advantage. For example, when you say with remote work becoming permanent, teams who streamline their communication will now have a significant competitive advantage. There's something really cool there about how you can at least acknowledge the fact that those who are making that next step actually have that competitive advantage. In most of the cases, their competitors aren't even looking at this particular area. So alternatively, usually the competitor might be the instigation for them reaching out. That's a different area. The next part is the cost of waiting. So you need to calculate specific daily and weekly losses that they are currently experiencing and include both tangible and intangible costs. And the key pro tip here is use concrete numbers. So if every week of delay costs your team 32 productive hours, that's $4,800 in lost productivity, not counting missed opportunities. So really nail that into the fact that you are losing this much per day if you don't make the next step. So you're gonna stay in that particular point. There's a lot of sales work to be had around the psychology there, but it really makes sense. And again, I have to bring this up because when it comes to video presenting, a lot of people will think that the whole point of around a sales video is to sell. And at the real heart of it, when you are a salesperson or you are just relaying the information out there, it's meant to help your audience. And if you're coming from a totally different point of view where it's just sales, money, get that benefit in, then there's really an opportunity missed there. And I think it's really beneficial to just clearly lay out the benefits and advantages because you genuinely want them to succeed. And I hope you implement that into your sales process. And lastly, it'll be the power close, right? So it'll be your close of the finale of a great performance. It should leave your audience really excited about what comes next. So here is my future success close framework. Number one is a quick value recap. You got to summarize the top 3 benefits, no more than 3. Make it forward looking, so into the future, and connect to their goals. For example, you got to imagine that 3 months from now, your team is saving 40 hours per week. Projects are finishing ahead of schedule and your ROI has already hit 300%. That is really painting a picture. The next step is actually, in fact, a clear next step. You got to make it simple, specific, remove all of the friction and create excitement. So, for example, click the link below to book your strategy session with me. I've opened up just 3 spots this week for fast-moving teams like yours, but I'd really love to hop on a call with you if you're interested. So that really kind of paints the fact that you're being friendly, that you're excited, and that you specifically, personally want to be with this particular person. So the last part is, in essence, it's a bonus tip if you want to do it. It's the future vision. You got to paint a picture of success and make it really, really personal again. And add that. So let's work together to make your team's productivity dreams a reality. I actually can't wait to help you transform your workplace. So that's something that you can really do. But here's a pro tip, all right? Record your close first and then your opener. And make sure they match in energy and enthusiasm. If you focus on your beginning and you focus on your ending, then the middle will take care of itself. And I actually have to quote Dan Martell for that because he's a rock star if you've ever listened to him. But he mentions that if you really focus on the opener and you focus on the ending, then the middle will take care of itself. In psychology as well too, there's something called the recency effect. So the last 5 seconds is the part that they're going to remember the most. People won't exactly remember what you said specifically, but they'll remember how it made you feel. So keep that in mind. All right, so I hope these techniques help you create more effective video pitches, right? But here's the exciting part over here. This is just the beginning. So next week, I'm sharing how one of my clients used this exact framework to increase their close rate by 312% in just 30 days. It was this exact framework, and he made it even more personal and went right through it. So if you are ready to transform your own video pitches or you need help creating compelling video content, then let's connect. It's free. My Calendly link is right in the description below. Book a call and we can chat about how we can use video to grow your business. Whether you want to do it yourself on camera or if you want to hire a video spokesperson or you just need help in general, feel free to reach out. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more video marketing and presentation tips. We got a lot of content coming up, so it'll be really exciting. We'll see you soon. Thanks.